You're listening to LSPN, the authority on sports-related podcasts.
The Calallen Wildcats weekly press conference is brought to you by the Calallen Touchdown Booster Club. The Touchdown Booster Club exists to support and promote the Calallen High School football program by uniting students, parents, coaches, and the community.
The Calallen Football Show is sponsored by Rat Hole Drilling for all your rat hole, mouse hole, and cellar construction needs. ratholedrilling.com. Also by Nolan's Restaurant. Nolan's Restaurant has been a Corpus Christi tradition. Whether you're craving choice steaks, Gulf Coast seafood, real pit barbecue, or their famous original poor boy sandwich, Nolan's delivers high-quality, scratch-made favorites that feel like home. Come taste generations of flavor at Nolan's. We also want to thank Meijer for their support. All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Coach Charlie Reeve. Coach, holy moly, you had a great dramatic finish to this last game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, if you could, walk us through that, because for people who didn't get to see it, there was a lot going on other than the fact that it's your rival, it's an important game for district, but man, it sure lived up to the hype.
Yeah, it did. It did. I mean, we talked about it last week. I mean, this is what makes high school football, so special. And it was a great atmosphere. I mean, both communities came out, it started fast. We got the opening kickoff, and Reese Rusher took it back for a score. We kick off, and I guess their first play of offense, they take it about 80 yards for a touchdown. And so, I mean, right off the bat, I mean, it's 7-7, and both teams came out swinging. And then, both teams kind of settled in, and, we kind of battled back and forth. We went into halftime 10-7. We were up. Came out second half, we kicked off. We ended up skying it and able to drop it down. Our kids got on top of it. We got the ball back, and that was big. We talked about trying to steal possessions throughout the game, through special teams or creating takeaways. Our special teams was really the difference. Our special teams, and we've talked about it all year long, and we work really hard on special teams, and that really was the difference on Friday night. Offensively, we got down the red zone 2 or 3 times. Obviously, we want to punch it in and get touchdowns, but we were able to come away with points. Our kicker, Ian Perez, was 3 for 3 on field goals, including the game winner, at the end. Yeah. Our kickoff unit really did a great job as far as, pinning those guys deep. Like I said, we got a turnover on the sky kick. And our return units, our kickoff return, really did a great job. We had one for a touchdown. We had another one, that was past midfield. And so, setting up field position was really big for us, especially in a tight game. And then the fourth quarter really started to get interesting. I mean, we kind of battled back and forth, and we scored, and they came back and scored, and then we got the ball, I guess late in the game, I think we scored with about 2 minutes to go to take the lead. Mm-hmm. And they drove the field, they answered, and we got the ball back with they ended up onside kicking it, and we got it back around midfield with about 34 seconds to go in the game. And we got first play, we were able to, get an out route, catch it, get out of bounds. The next play, we had a big pass play to Reese Rusher down the field, got it down to about, our 15, 20-yard line, and set it up for a last-second field goal. So, it was a game that lived up to the hype Definitely really proud of our kids. They just continue to find a way to pull it out and win. And I think, we had talked about it earlier in the season, playing some of those tight games early on. I mean, this was our third, fourth quarter, last minute, win. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a comeback win, but it was, a last, where we had to go drive the field, the last, minute of the game to go win. And I think, being in some of those tight games early on in the season, I think, helped us out. And I mean, our kids didn't flinch, and again, they just continued to find a way to win. But it was a great team win for us, and a lot of reasons. Obviously, it's a big rival game, but it had huge implications as far as obviously district championship, but also playoff seeding. And so, that was a big one for us for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And speaking of the district, I mean, again, since it's such a small district championship won't be settled till the final week. They're just, I guess
sure.
You could win this week, and that would pretty much guarantee it. But
yeah, I mean, like we said, it's being in a small district. I mean, there's no room for error, and if you want to win the outright district championship, you got to win them all, and so obviously that was a big one, and but for every game that you win, it makes the next one even more important. So this will be a big one as well, coming up this Friday.
Yeah, well, let's talk about them, because on paper it looks like a heck of a matchup. They're 6-1, 1-0 in district. Again, this one looks like a district championship game. I know coaches don't like to downplay any opponents, but a lot of the quote-unquote experts are saying, yeah, this isn't as close as it looks. What is your thought on this game?
Well, I think Zapata is a good team. And obviously, you're not 6-1 if you're not. They've got a lot of guys that are coming back from last year. I think they've got 9 starters. They've got 19 starters coming back, across the team. And so there's a lot of experience coming back. Playing them at home is always tough. And so, and two is, they still control their own destiny. I mean, like you said, they're both teams are fighting for a district championship right now. And so, they're going to come out, they're going to play their best game. And so, in our minds, this is the most important game of the year. We've got to go out and we've got to play really well on the road. But they're a skilled team. I think they're well coached. I think they play really hard. And so, it's going to be a good matchup.
And what have you seen from them on tape as far as their offense, maybe their key personnel they rely on?
Well, they've got a receiver that they utilize in a lot of different ways. They put him at Wildcat quarterback. He'll be a receiver. He'll play some running back. They find a lot of ways to get him the ball. I think they're athletic up front. I think they've got some good receivers. They're really multiple in what they do, and so we've got to do a great job as far as getting lined up right. They do a lot of things. I think they throw the ball well, and they're efficient in what they do. Defensively, they've got some size, and I think they run the ball well, and so again, they're a good team, and we're going to have to play well.
Yeah, and a lot of coaches will look at that bus ride and groan a little bit, thinking, yeah, well, this is kind of annoying. But talk about the road trip experience and why that's important for your kids before playoffs, because there's going to be a lot of those.
Yeah, sure. So, we were able to have, we were on the road 2 weeks ago when we went down to Far Valley View, and I think that was a good experience for us. It's going to be a similar trip, and I don't mind the road games as long as, we handle them the right way. I think sometimes, road games are good just because it gives us a chance to really just focus in on the game and what we got to do. And sometimes even at home, there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that are going on. And so sometimes it's not a bad thing, to be on the road and have a longer road trip just because you're locked in on the game and that's it. But yeah, I mean, it's a business trip and our kids, I think, are mature enough, and I thought we handled it well and far. And so, that gave us good experience before going down there for this one.
Nice. And finally, Coach, what about health? This late in the season, obviously you got dings, but how are the kids?
Overall, we're okay. We're starting to get some kids back. We were pretty banged up, to the middle part of the season, and so much, in fact, that our trainers had to order more crutches because we ran out of crutches in our training room. But the good thing is we're starting to get some of those crutches back and getting some of those kids off crutches and starting to get out and run around and do some things. So hopefully, I think this is a good time to start getting well before the playoffs, and hopefully we can continue to stay healthy.
Well, it's good timing to heal up, that's for sure. Coach, congratulations on the TM win. That was a fun one, and best of luck this week against Zapata.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Since 2012, JE Construction Services has built the roads and infrastructure that keeps South Texas moving. Their heavy civil expertise covers refinery work, underground utilities, paving, and more. If you want a dependable, full-service contractor, choose JE Construction Services. Visit their website at jecs.cc. That's JE Construction Services.